Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Teen Talk Conversations. I hope you're doing well. I'm very excited. I'm always excited to have these conversations. Remember, if you saw the last video and you liked it, make sure you like this video and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can find out when the next videos come out. But I've really been enjoying having these conversations with business owners who have a passion for a certain something. And I've been networking on LinkedIn, and that is where we connected. And I'm going to do it right. I'm going to call his name is Joao.
That's perfect. Hi,
Thank
Nat.
you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and speak with you a little bit.
So in your regular life, you have a job, but what is the thing that you have thrown yourself into? Tell everybody what you've been doing or what you're pursuing so that they know more about that part of your world.
Yes. So completely unrelated with my day-to-day job. I started writing online, specifically through LinkedIn, just because I've always wanted to share a little bit of my experiences and my thoughts with other people, but I've always had this fear of being judged or not being good at it. So I postponed it for a couple of years, but this year I decided I would jump into it, and that's what I've been doing for a couple of months now.
And what is your focus on?
So my focus is it started a little bit broad. So everything that I would, so all the experiences that I would come across on my daily basis, on my job, or also on my personal life, I would reflect on them and I would pinpoint specific lessons and specific obstacles and how I overcame them. And the idea was to document those parts of the story and then pass the lessons to the reader. So that's what I've been trying to do.
So I feel like you're documenting your life and creating a bit of a movie.
Well, I'm trying. I haven't thought about it as a movie, but I guess you could put the pieces together and create something like that. Yes.
And I mean, we both agree. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Nat Mayer. I'm a public speaking coach, and I specifically coach teens. I coach professionals as well, but teens are my niche. And the thing that sort of brought us together was this idea of storytelling and how we use it to enrich either a talk or, as you say, you learn from your everyday life. So you have been posting for just under 6 months, I think, isn't it? Or under 4 months?
A little bit, it's close to 4 months now.
Okay. And what are the areas that you're most that bring you the most joy when you share?
So there's a couple of recurring topics that I like to. I found most joy writing about things like self-doubt, um, the fear of imperfection, lack of consistency. These tend to be the common topics amongst my posts, just because these were my biggest obstacles throughout the past year. So every time I thought
Yeah.
about writing and documenting my journey, these were the blockers. These were the things that were not allowing me to do it and to move forward. So now that I finally overcame them, I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that people who are reading my posts and came across what I'm posting online, they don't suffer from the same things.
Absolutely. And I mean, kudos to you for identifying that early on in your career and in your life. I think it took me too long to figure that out. That we should just do not care. We don't care. We should just be sharing. And LinkedIn
Yes.
LinkedIn has become a space where you can be a little bit more vulnerable and you can share more of those personal stories or lessons. There was a
Yes.
time, I don't want to date myself, but when I joined LinkedIn,
Don't do it.
it was not like that. It was much more, I don't know what word to use. It was stuffy. It was, you were just there to do
Mhm.
business. You
Yes.
talked business, you promoted business, you found clients. That's what you did. Whereas now people are really sharing the story of their life, not just in terms of work, but in terms
Hmm.
of personal life, family life. I mean, I never would have done this years ago. I posted a picture of fresh mango juice the other day and compared it to my husband. Like,
Who would
I,
have thought?
exactly. But the analogy was there,
Yes.
right? It was about a
Hmm.
blend. It was about the blend of him and I working well together, doing this, offering this master class to people, and the blend of the mango and the lime, and all having all the right things.
Yes.
I never would have done that many years ago because I don't think it would have deemed appropriate,
Yes.
in this context. So do you feel like, since we're on the topic of LinkedIn, do you feel like LinkedIn is allowing for more of that flexibility in storytelling?
I think so. Now, obviously, I haven't been on the platform for a long time.
Yeah.
I had a profile created for a couple of years now, but I only really started taking LinkedIn seriously, like I said, close to 4 months now. Before, the idea that I had of LinkedIn was that it was, like you said, this stiff, very professional platform that didn't allow a lot of room for this creativity and storytelling. And it was just more, at least this was the opinion that I had. It's like it was just for executives and these very serious business people to kind of have this
Yeah.
network between themselves. Now, what I see is completely different. I see a lot of creators just like myself, smaller, bigger, where they basically share everything, anything about their life. And so long it has a purpose, it has a lesson, and something that the readers can take from that post, I think it's well accepted on the platform right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, storytelling is goes back thousands of years. It's not a new
Mhm.
concept. It really is about showing people through the stories. And I know that when I work with clients, I harp. My students, I drive them crazy because I always say, if you're going to make a point, then tell a story or
Yes.
give an analogy or give the example that will back up what you're talking about, because storytelling ultimately is how we connect with people. It's the thing
Mhm.
that brings us all together, because if you're in pain and you write about it and somebody else hears in pain, they will be grateful that you have shared that. Do you see the response in your responses that you're getting, like people are connecting with those themes that you have?
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that do a lot is like I study other people's posts, especially like these bigger creators, because
Yeah.
I don't have as much of a data set still to study and
Hmm.
to get these conclusions. So what I notice is like, especially now with AI, it's so easy to just like generate a post in seconds that will give you a framework or give you a strategy and tell you how to deal with a specific situation, but that will sound so robotic and people are starting to know how to filter that type of content. What's rare
Yeah.
these days is when you actually have someone telling you a story, a personal story, it's even better, about how they had to deal with a specific situation, how they faced that situation, and that transformation story, right? How they went from A to B, and what did they learn from doing all that path. And after that, then yes, you can give the framework, you can give the advice and the strategy and everything. But I think what touches people right now is the emotion side of things. It's like this
Yeah.
empathetic conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that, I mean, everyone is using AI. You're kind of silly if you don't. If it can
Yes,
at least, because let's be honest, it's saving time and energy. I'm not going to
of
lie.
course.
However, I like to take what it gives me and really make it my own and change
Mhm.
the words that really resonate for me. What would be your, how do you go about sourcing or cultivating your story? Like what is or what are the things that you find you're like, oh, this is going to make a great story?
Mm. So my criteria to choose what to write about is I think about all the experiences and events that I've had and I have right now on my life. And like I said, it
Yeah.
could be professionally or personally. And I think what are some of the things that the obstacles that I'm currently facing that a lot of people will relate with?
Okay.
Things that I've mentioned, self-doubt, uh, the lack of consistency, procrastination, all these are all things that are common to everyone, whether you're getting started or you've been working for 10 years. Everyone will relate to these things. So that's my initial criteria when thinking about stories.
And so how do you build your story? Like is there like a beginning, a middle, an end, an arc, the suspense? Like do you have a process that you follow to create your stories?
So especially after COVID, and now I'm going to tell you a quick story
Yeah, please go
to make
ahead.
my point. So after COVID, obviously everyone was locked inside, right? So for a couple of months, I couldn't do anything, and it was driving me crazy. So as soon as there was like this tiny little permission to go out, me and my best friend, we started escaping every single weekend into the countryside, like a family house
Yeah.
that I have. And the only thing that we would do is we would just sit facing nature and just having these conversations, these reflections, like hours long conversations. And so when I sit down to write, what I do is I imagine if I'm sitting next to him and telling the story to him. It's like I have this
Mm,
experience. If if he was here right now, how would I speak to him? How would I go about telling him this story? And that's how I write basically. So
I like
I
it.
try to introduce the story to him. This was what I was facing, and then this is what I do. This is how I overcame it, and then I'll try to imagine what he would say back. It's kind of easy when we had these conversations like for hours and hours and hours. So
Yeah.
that's usually the process. That's where I get the inspiration from.
And it would take an event like that to get people to think outside of the box of what, what they're used to or that, what the norm is, right? Storytelling comes in so many different formats. And I think from what I've seen of yours, I love the breakdown. Like you keep it nice and it flows nicely in your story. So they're easy to follow. But now that you've shared that, I'm thinking, how am I going to write my next story? However, prefer to do a video. So a
Hmm.
video story or a video essay
Okay.
because it's easier. I think that I'm able to convey the message or the emotion more in that way as opposed to through just writing it out. So you will see that I will often do a video as opposed to the writing, depending on if I did my hair that day or if I'm looking, the light is right. But I much prefer to do a
Yes.
video essay, and I did one the other day about having a conversation with someone who was talking about my ideal client. Like it was a
Mm.
teen who needed help with interviews, and it just unfolded so nicely. So video essays is something actually my students don't know yet, but we're going to be moving towards so that they also can understand the difference between writing their stories out but also sharing their stories so that there's some clarity. I do a TED Ed program, which is the TED for students, and that's where we really focus on what is your point, but what is the story or what is the learning that people need to get from your TED talk as they're building that skill set. And I think it's an important skill. I mean, I don't know what was included in your school system or in your curriculum. Was communication, was giving talks or presentations a big part of the curriculum when you were in school?
We wouldn't. We were not taught like directly how to communicate, but I remember that there was a heavy component of presenting,
Yeah,
and not just presenting, but also like we would have to be part of some other events where we would have to face the public and speak publicly. But I don't
yeah,
think, as far as I remember, I don't think there was like a specific subject where we would be taught how to
yeah,
communicate or how to face the public.
yeah. And I think there are schools that do it obviously because it's part of some curriculums. But the more research I do, the more I find that schools or school boards are requiring students to do communication, but are not teaching them
Yeah,
how to do the
exactly.
communication. That's why I do what I do. It's why I love what I love, because I just want kids to feel good about what they have to say, share those
Yes.
ideas in a way that is effective
Mhm.
and makes them feel good about it. Because I say, if you can communicate with, if you can speak with confidence and communicate clearly and say what you have to say and say it well, you can go way far, far, far,
Yes.
far. And I do believe it starts
Exactly.
at home. That's my humble opinion. I know that I'm a communication coach. So, of course, for me, it's important that, my daughter have those skill set. And it started early on. I mean, we went to a restaurant, she ordered her own food. I didn't order. I'd help her, but then teach her, those things. We went to a coffee shop, she ordered her own thing. And now she can order in a third language anywhere she goes here
Wow.
or goes to the store and asks for help. It's a really
That's
key
amazing.
thing that parents, you know, um, can help their kids with. And it's a small thing. And if you can empower them early on, they will feel much better as they get older.
And one thing that I'm just thinking now, I'm remembering from my early days when I
Yeah.
was younger, a teenager, or even earlier than that, and I would be forced to present, is that, like you said, no one would tell us how to do it, but we would be forced to do it.
Hmm.
And I'm just thinking that, just like you're doing with your daughter, I think a big part of it is showing them that it's okay to speak in public, and building that confidence from an early age. Because if they have the confidence, then they will feel better about learning how to do it. But if you're forced to do it and no one showed you how to do it, and work with you to have that confidence in public, then you're just gonna feel embarrassed, and you're gonna stress, and it's gonna go like in this down spiral, and you will never,
Yeah.
or it will be very hard to recover from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if anybody wanted to get in touch with you because they wanted a little bit of help with their storytelling, where's the best way to reach you?
So via LinkedIn, of course, I spend a lot of time there these days. And on LinkedIn, you'll probably find my email as well attached on the contact information. I need to double check on that. I will make sure it is there. If
Perfect.
not, just LinkedIn messages, and I also have a link on my profile that anyone can schedule like a 20-minute free call with me if you have questions, or you're just curious about what I do, how I do it. You can schedule that call for free, and you can chat with me for 20 minutes.
I love the free call, and I too. If you're catching this and you are wondering how you can support your teen or how your teen can get extra support when it comes to school presentations, interviews, or just plainly talking about themselves, get in touch with me at info@teentalkwithnat.com, or you can visit the website teentalkwithnat.com and book a call there. Do you have any last words of wisdom?
I just want to say again, thank you for having me and having the opportunity to have this conversation with you. I think the work you're doing is amazing. Like I said, I didn't have this when I was younger. I had to struggle a lot with this social anxiety and the fear of facing the public. I think I did it. I'm still working on showing up in public like this,
You're
showing
doing
my face.
great.
Thank you. But I think you doing that work with the next generations is a really great thing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, whatever you choose to do, I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you soon in the next episode. Bye for now.